Welcome back. Welcome back. Me and Slim here doing the real reason why Trae Young wasn't an all-star. While we both think that he deserves it in the grand scheme of things, I think he does deserve it. And I'm a number one Trae hater. So if you've ever watched any of our stuff remotely regarding Trae, I'm a Trae hater. But I think if you look at the East and how the All-Star game works, the reason why he didn't make the All-Star game is one, there's a couple reasons, but the main one I think is because of winning in general. The top 8 seeds are the only teams with all stars in the East right now. I'm pretty sure there's no team that's below 500 or no player on a team that's below 500 in the All Star game for the Eastern Conference right now. So those two things, one right there. Second thing is it's voted on by coaches. The reserves, the starters are by the fans, the media, and the players. 50% fan, and then 25% player, 25% coaches or media. So the media is always going to give it to the new up and coming guy like Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, because while I think Jalen Brunson's made a serious case, but you can't argue that Tyrese Maxey is better than Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell in the player and media poll was lower than Tyrese Maxey, but his Maxey's fan vote was lower, so that's why he's a reserve. Brunson and Dame were tied, but Dame has more fan votes, so Dame gets the nod to start. I think the coach aspect of it is I think coaches respect winning teams a little bit more, and I think that's the real reason why. But if you want to go and give your little spiel, I think his numbers speak for themselves. I always have a problem with his play style and his field goal percentage, his 3-point percentage, all of that. I think that's kind of my issue with him personally. But in the grand scheme of things, you want to see the best players in the NBA be out there and who's having the best season. And I think in the grand scheme of the 48 games or however many we're in, Trae Young is having more than a good enough season to be an all-star. And I think he will get the reserve, like the extra spot, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, the Hawks are playing the Phoenix Suns. It is 66-63. And as of current, Trae Young has 17 points, is 4 of 6 from the three-point line, is shooting 6 of 9 from the field, has a block, has a steal, and has 9 assists at the half. And I think that shows a lot about his game. And me specifically, when you are averaging, he's averaging 27 plus, right? Which is ninth in the league. Curry is at 27.5, which is eighth.
Trae's, I think, is he's 27 flat. I think it's 11th. I just saw it. I'm pretty sure. But still, and top
Yeah.
11, you're doing something right.
Yeah, over the course of games, it's gonna be back and forth like that.
Yeah,
But
11th.
so just around that range between eighth, ninth, which is if you're top 10 in scoring in the league out of 400 players, I think that says a lot. And he's eighth in steals, and he is second in assists. And I think that when you have production like that for your team, I think that winning does count. Winning does matter. And not to say that he isn't a winner, but my frustration is with how, you know, I feel as if not we, but certain people don't really take the time out to appreciate certain players for their game. I feel like certain fans of the NBA, maybe even the media, maybe even some companies, corporations, or whatever you want to say, have particular agendas to highlight certain players. And then for one, I'd say that Atlanta hasn't had the largest market in regards to, you could say the money that they bring in and just the culture that Atlanta has as well. But I think Trae Young definitely fits that. But for a rookie to come in and already be not only a star, but I would say a first option for a team who, you know, you could say hasn't necessarily been successful because we haven't had a championship in however long. I think that says a lot about Trae and the pressure that he's already, came into just when he got into the league. And he's not going to be able to do it by himself. The reason why I feel as if, I'm not really upset about his field goal percentage. When you're shooting, at least, 40%, I'm not going to complain. But 3-point percentage, I know that you're not the biggest fan of his shot selection, But Trae Young is, one of the most clutch players in the league, I would say, especially this season. He is one of the top players who have had the most points in the clutch, specifically in the fourth quarter plus overtime.
Mm.
And that's a lot of pressure. And when you're taking shots like that, I think it says a lot about the guys around you. And you can't say that Trae Young is a selfish player and he just chucks up shots just because he's second in the league in assists. And when you're assisting your team, you have to be, a selfless guy. You know what I'm saying? So for you to, be at the top of the charts in assists and to be at the top of the charts even in points every night, you know what I'm saying? You're showing up damn near averaging 30 and 11. I think that says a lot about your game. And, when it comes down to it, you're not going to win it all by yourself. So just because Trae is our, number one option, you could say he is a star on our team. It's all about the rest of the guys. It's about DeJounte Murray. It's about
Yeah.
Bogdanovich. It's about DeAndre Hunter. It's about Sadiq Bey. We've been missing two starters, in Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter. Even Trae has missed some games. DJ has missed some games. So I think that a lot of that talk that Trae, gets isn't as deserved as a lot of people,
Yeah.
force it into the media and stuff.
Yeah. So my whole thing is so Trey Young obviously is having a good statistical season, points, assists, yada yada. I think the difference is that I don't think the Hawks are constructed badly as like a roster. I think it's kind of segueing into the Hawks video, but the Hawks as a roster, I think, has the pieces to be good enough. I think there's something missing. I don't know if it's just me because my head thinks of the way Trae plays, where he's so ball dominant and usage rate high that while it's effective and he gets everyone involved, and I'm not saying that, I think it comes down to, especially for All Star. So I'll wrap it back here, but for All Star, it's a lot about moments and winning the big game to me. And I feel like the Hawks haven't done that this year. While we've seen guys like Jalen Brunson as of late go on an absolute tear. Donovan Mitchell just had 45 points the other night. Or Tyrese Maxey just last night at the time of recording this dropped 51. So like all of those guys just to me have like a signature moment this season where off the top of my head, and I'm not watching a ton of Hawks basketball, I'm watching probably 15-20% of their games, which for me is a lot to be watched like for a team that's not a fan of mine or not on national TV a lot. I watch them a fair amount. They're probably one of my high, besides the Cavs, one of my higher league pass teams. But I just feel like Trae hasn't really had that moment where it's like he's the guy and he's forcing this team to win games. I feel like he's just right now in the system where I feel like Maxey, Brunson, I think Dame being over Trae Young in an all-star to begin with is ludicrous to me. I think Trae is having a better season than Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard starting, which is ridiculous. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't think Damian Lillard should have been an all-star if this is how it's going to go. I think you put Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell as a starter. To me, it doesn't matter. Then it's Tyrese, Trae, and Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson as the bench. But I think Trae doesn't have that moment where I've seen like a lot of the moments for the Hawks has come from DeJounte Murray hitting a buzzer beater or something like that, where Trae hasn't really done that. And so that I think is kind of held against him. And when you're a coach, you have to respect the guys that are young and like haven't really been there before or are older guys like Donovan Mitchell or like a Jason Tatum. Like these teams are also winning and they're the driving force behind that. So if you're just not really winning and your numbers are good but you're not winning, I think that's the real issue with it. But I mean, the All-Star game voting format's bullshit to begin with because it's two guards, three front court players for the starters, two guards, three front court, and two randoms. That's the All-Star game. So only having the three guards, especially in the Eastern Conference, because the East is loaded with guards. Like, think about it. Darius Garland was hurt, so he only played 20 games before the voting even happened. So he's not going to make it in over someone.
And I think
think about the guys we named. Like,
I think I think LaMelo would have had an opportunity if
Mhm.
he didn't get injured early this season. I completely agree with you. Maxey is deserving of that spot. First time All Star 51 last night. Jalen Brunson, I love Jalen Brunson. So 40 ball, first time All Star. These cats deserve it. Not
I've
to
been
say
very nice to Trae, so you better not say Donovan Mitchell didn't deserve
no,
it.
no, 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 no. So I'm talking to Finn and like follow, comment, subscribe. You know what it comes down to. I'm talking to Finn. Donovan Mitchell definitely deserved that spot. And if there was anybody who I would have taken off of the initial reserves list would be Jaylen Brown. I feel like Trae Young is
Yeah.
definitely having a better season. But all that to say, not that Trae Young, I mean, I get what you're saying, and like you want to see more game winners. You want the excitement from the All-Star
It doesn't
game.
even have to be game winners, but I just mean like signature games to me. Like I just
Well,
haven't like seen and like social media, like think about just the fan vote. Like people love Trae. So
yeah, yeah,
like I haven't seen a ton of Trae moments this year that really stick out to me. Where I've
yeah.
seen moments from everyone else, which is what the All-Star game is all about. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, I do think Trae should be there, but based on the formatting that happened, and the start after the starters were being released, I really did not think Trae was going to make it. If you watched
Yeah.
our All Star predictions video, I didn't have him on my initial list, and I had we did 2 wild card extras to replace injured players, and I had Trae on that. But I just think giving the nod to a first time All Star like a Brunson or a Maxey is always going to come first if you're not winning. Like
100.
if the Hawks were the 4 seed, no doubt Trae Young's an All Star, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean we'll wrap it up shortly, but you get your last little point in here.
Um, just to throw this out there, not to be this guy, but we have been in a league where markets matter, organizations matter, and in the case, bro, I've watched 6 nationally televised Philly games this week. It feels like, you know what I'm saying. I've watched them play the Golden State Warriors. I've watched them play the Blazers on NBA TV. I'm watching them play Denver back to back. You know what I'm saying. I know New York gets a lot of televised games. Arguably, New York, Philly, the Los Angeles Lakers. They are the 3 largest markets in the NBA in regards to how many nationally televised games that they have for the media to be able to highlight, the highlights from the game, from, how impactful a player like Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brunson can be. And I think that we are stepping into the evolution of markets don't matter anymore. Take the time out to really pay attention to these cats. And then that's why I really, you haven't heard me say anything about Hallie not deserving his spot,
Mhm.
because he absolutely does. And I think that he is a testament to show that market doesn't matter. And it's all about appreciating basketball. It's all about
Mhm.
appreciating these cats for what they are. And then I just want Trae to get the respect that he deserves. Of 17 players who are, averaging the most points and most assists, Trae is number 5 on that list. And, for him not to, be a starter for one, cool. Like, I'm not even like, I'm
Yeah,
sick of
I
arguing.
don't think that he deserves to be a starter, and I'll just say that. Even if you just looked at the season as a whole, I don't think he deserves to be a starter. I don't.
He's having a better season than Damian Lillard. You
I
could
know
argue that he's
100% agree. Dame, I do not think is having a good season whatsoever. He's doing all the things that I dislike about Trae Young at a worse level. So I'm obviously I have to put Trae Young ahead. He's doing
100%.
Damian Lillard shooting worse from the field than Trae Young
Yeah,
is. I don't want to let this video run too long, but yeah, I mean the market thing is a real thing, and I think the biggest advantage of what Tyrese did to be a starter is in all those nationally televised games in the in-season tournament, he balled the fuck out.
yeah, balled out 100%.
So seeing him do that on that national stage is
Yeah,
the reason why he gets that nod. I
yeah,
think if they lose in the first round to Boston or Milwaukee or whatever, whenever they played them, Tyrese
yeah,
doesn't get this anointment from everyone else where he's this unbelievable player and all of that. Because I do think Tyrese is unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, but
100%.
I'm saying it's at a level I think even above where you would have gotten that if it wasn't for the in-season tournament
Mm-hmm.
win, but or second
100.
place. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys think Trae Young should be an all-star. I think he's going to get in to one of those spots unless they're only replacing him with front court players. I don't think they'll do that because I think it's just anyone. But I'm hoping for Jared Allen to get a spot. But I think Trae and Jared Allen deserve the next two spots
100.
for Randall and Embiid. But like, comment, subscribe, and peace.